for an entire year. Put it at full mass. We said on Indisputable that the killings we have referenced are the ones we know about. And there may be others that we don't know about yet. Here is one of them. There's a secret third ICE killing that the Department of Homeland Security has been hiding from us for a year. This is 23-year-old Ruben Ray Martinez, who was shot and killed by federal agents in March of 2025. Ruben Ray Martinez was shot by an ICE Homeland Security Investigations officer in South Padre Island, Texas. This happened March 15th, 2025. After what ICE described as a failure to follow law enforcement instructions during a traffic incident as agents worked with local police on immigration enforcement. While this young man's death was reported in local media at the time, the reports did not identify the involvement of Homeland Security or disclose that a federal agent fired the shots through the driver's side window. When asked about Mr. Martinez's killing, the Department of Homeland Security described the shooting as an act of self-defense, saying the agent had, quote, fired defensive shots to protect himself, his fellow agents, and the general public after the driver ran over a Homeland Security Investigation special agent. Rachel Reyes said she first learned that her son had been shot by a federal agent rather than a police officer or a local cop about a week after he was killed. She was contacted by an investigator from the Rangers who she said told her there were videos of the shooting that contradicted the account provided by federal agents. Let's back up. That sounds very similar to what has happened every time there's a shooting, a narrative, and a video. The narrative contradicts what the video showed. But we could have known the trajectory of ICE and their lawlessness a year ago if local media would have followed up on the story or reported the facts as the facts are. But they left this part out. They left it out, okay? So the Department of Homeland Security, they spin a narrative, as they have done with others, that the individual was engaged in A, B, and C, and we had to utilize lethal force. Well, they said that about Mr. Preddy, a VA nurse who posed no threat. Renee Good, an individual trying to get away from a lawless person, posed no threat. Dead. And now we have one a year prior that follows the same MO as the ones recently from the same damn department. The key witness, Ruben's lifelong friend, has died. The only passenger in the car when an American citizen was shot and killed by a federal officer in South Texas last year had planned to speak up to contradict the government's account of the shooting. However, that individual, Joshua Orta, died in what they are calling an unrelated car crash over the weekend. The passenger, Joshua Orta, has been referred to as a critical eyewitness by an attorney for Martinez's mother. Orta provided a witness statement to attorneys in September, 6 months after Martinez was fatally shot on South Padre Island. In the statement obtained by CBS News, Mr. Orta asserted that the pair were returning to where they were staying when they came upon the scene of an accident. Orta's account of what happened: an officer approached the car, Orta said, and, quote, told us to turn around and leave without issuing a citation or warning, end quote, despite orders saying there was an open container next to Martinez, end quote. Excuse me, quote. As we inch forward in traffic to get turned around, another officer, a state trooper, walked up to our car and slapped the hood, end quote, or the statement reads, quote, I later learned that the trooper's report said that Ruben had hit the officer. That's not true, end quote. Order stated the trooper, quote, wasn't moving out of the way when we tried to turn around and leave, after which other law enforcement approached the car and started yelling at us to stop. Quote, I even saw them draw their guns, or the statement reads. This was crazy to me because we were only crawling, like the car was in gear but just coasting. Ruben never hit the gas. The troopers were never in danger from Ruben. So what scene is he painting? He's saying that a trooper went up to the car and hit the car and utilized that false pretense as the prerequisite in order to engage in what ended up being a deadly crisis. That sounds like corruption, right? Abuse of power, filing a false police report, violation of oath of office. There's more. At some point, a Homeland Security Investigations officer who order asserted, quote, was in no danger from the car, then fired multiple times at Ruben from no more than 2 feet away, the statement read. Order claimed the officer did so without providing a warning or command. I heard Ruben say, quote, I'm sorry. And then he slumped backward. Order reported before also claiming law enforcement pulled his friend's body from the car and handcuffed him, even though he was clearly unconscious or already dead, end quote. Martinez's loved ones say they are still waiting for accountability 11 months after his death. The family's attorney said they were pushing for an investigation into, quote, why a federal officer shot and killed a U.S. citizen as he was trying to comply with instructions from the local law enforcement officers directing traffic, end quote. Quote, it is critical that there is a full and fair investigation into why HSI was present at the scene of a traffic collision and why a federal officer shot and killed a U.S. citizen as he was trying to comply with instructions from the local law enforcement officers directing traffic. Attorneys Charles M. Stam and Alex Stam said in a statement to the attorneys, I know your job has become even more difficult because your key witness, and I will say it under very mysterious timing circumstances, died over the weekend and what they're calling an unrelated crash. But you still have power here. You still have an opportunity because there were other eyewitnesses, the officer. And those officers that engaged in that scenario, you never know. One of them may have had a change of heart since that day. One of them may be willing to give you a proper statement, an affidavit of the fact. Or if you depose them as witnesses, they may not be willing to risk their own freedom and lie for the ICE agent who did what none of them thought was necessary because none of the other cops fired a bullet. Please do that for this young man. It is clear from the tragic story that ICE agents lack training. They lack care. They lack basic humanness in the execution of their duty, many of them, most of them, in some cases. An ICE whistleblower has officially confirmed this. ICE has been graduating cadets who are not qualified to be cadets whatsoever. Here it is.
I am here because I am duty-bound to report the legally required training program at the ICE Academy is deficient, defective, and broken. 5 months ago, I was asked to teach the law to new cadets at the ICE Academy in Glencoe, Georgia, where ICE is training its new, inexperienced recruits. On my first day, I received secretive orders to teach new cadets to violate the Constitution by entering homes without a judicial warrant. For the last 5 months, I watched ICE dismantle the training program, cutting 240 hours of vital classes from a 584-hour program. Classes that teach the Constitution, our legal system, firearms training, the use of force, lawful arrests, proper detention, and the limits of officers' authority.
Trump said he loves the uneducated. Put it up. The man who has become a whistleblower is a hero amongst us. He resigned from his job because they were actively restricting him from testifying to the truth. So instead of just going along to get along, instead of saying, I don't agree with it, but what can I do? He resigned from that job. Keep his picture up. Because ain't no damn job worth trading your soul for. Ever. His name is Ryan Schwank. Ryan has worked with ICE since 2021 as the assistant chief counsel. He resigned last week so that you can know the truth. Thank you, dear brother. Thank you. All right. Thoughts?
Immigrants are not target practice.
That's right.
I'm sending this to ICE. I'm saying this to the people of the United States. Representative Al Green has shown me the way. First and foremost, of course, my condolences to the Orta family and the Rodriguez family. Of course, Mr. Orta murdered and Mr. Rodriguez died in a car crash. That means two people who were involved in this, young people, were mysteriously dead by mysterious circumstances that are unlikely. I don't know if I believe in coincidences, Dr. Rich, especially not in regards, and I definitely don't believe in coincidences when it comes to the government of the United States of America. We've seen it one too many times often. In fact, to Mr. Ryan Schwank, I hope you have Geico and life insurance because there might be a car accident in your future as well. Be very careful. The statement that the whistleblower has become the hero, the fact that that is more true now than ever is a part of that shame that we should feel towards the United States government. Why is our government covering up? Why are we having people who are not trained to handle situations, handling situations? This is murder. By the way, we've seen cover-ups like this before. In The Godfather, remember at the end when Michael Corleone needed to get rid of everybody and had everybody executed basically while he was innocent at the baptism of his sister's child, who, by the way, he also killed his sister's husband. That's what we're watching in real time. We're watching this in real time. We're watching a mafia regime in real time. The United States of America is becoming that. Be very mindful.
And maybe the romanticizing of these things has somehow in some way desensitized the collective to when it happens in reality. But the reason we provide light is because information, truth, understanding, and context is the greatest disinfectant to corruption and a culture of lies. I'll put up Mr. Schwank again. We need more people like him in this world, and we actually have them. Who are they?